Good morning, everybody. It's the Big K Experience and the Spilt Milk Show with the B. And today we're going to be talking about my crazy trip to the Social Security office. It was insane and took forever. How daylight savings time can kill you. Psychologists' advice on how to deal with the breakup. Science, big booty equals healthy children. It is the science about it. And mental illness and tattoos, how those relate. All coming up. All right, so I went to the Social Security office, and while I was there, it was a little insane for me. So I get there and I pick a number, right? And then while I'm waiting for my number, I realize that 92 gets called, and then 94 gets called, but 93 does not get called, which is me. So I think to myself, well, it's probably one of those things where whatever they're doing takes more time, so they're jumping ahead of me. But then it hits me. The person who's 94 is the guy that came with me who's there for the exact same reason I am. So I'm like, well, he got 94, I guess whatever he's doing is more important, except he's doing the same thing as me, so I don't understand how that's working out. And I'm telling the people around me this. So security gets up and comes over, and I think, oh, Lord. And security goes, I'm sorry, what number are you? And I told her I was 93, 293 to be exact, B293. I told her I was 293, and she goes, oh, well, we already called your number. And I was like, no, you didn't. And the guy across from me goes, I didn't hear it. And the guy over on the other way goes, yeah, I didn't hear it either. And we've all been waiting for our number. So I don't understand how that's possible. Well, they told me just go get another number because they're going to check it out. But if that number is not right, if I'm wrong about it, then obviously I'm going to have to wait for the other number if they did call mine, which they didn't. All right. So I go get the other number. And now I'm 15 numbers away from where I was. Right? I should have already been helped. I've been there for 45 minutes. Haven't been helped yet, so now I'm probably gonna have to wait another 45 minutes. So I wait about 5 minutes or so, and then I decide I'm gonna go outside and have a cigarette, you know? Gonna go enjoy myself a little bit because obviously I'm gonna be here for a hot minute. So I walk outside to have a cigarette. Of course, I get a few drags in, and somebody runs out and goes, hey, they're calling your number. And I was like, oh, really? And he's like, yeah, 212, right? And I said, yeah. So I go running in there, and my buddy was telling the guy at the front that he was going to go get me. So he goes, gets me, and the guy goes, can I have your name? And I told him my name. And he goes, you don't have a scheduled appointment. And I was like, you're supposed to have a scheduled appointment? He's like, no, but you said you did. And I was like, no, I just got a number, and you called my number, so I came up here. He's all, no, you marked it down as a scheduled appointment, which means you're trying to cut in line right now, and you can't do that. And I was like, I'm sorry, my number got skipped once already? So you're trying to tell me that I'm cutting in line is ridiculous. Don't worry. Also, there's some more colorful words added in there because right now I'm starting to get a little upset. And he goes, well, hold on, let me check your number. And he checks and he goes, yeah, it says we called it 3 times. And I was all, well, you didn't. Because there's no way I could hear 292 and I could hear 294, but I didn't hear 293. Like, how is that possible? I haven't gone anywhere. I haven't been anywhere. I've been sitting right here since you started calling those numbers. He goes, yeah, well, you're going to have to go and sit down and wait like everybody else has to. You can't just say you're scheduled and then get an appointment. And I was all, I never said I was bleeping scheduled. If you would have called my bleeping number when it was supposed to be bleeping called, we wouldn't have this bleeping problem. So obviously all the bleeps are my curse words. Because now I'm standing up and I'm starting to get frustrated. Because he's basically calling me out as a liar and someone who's trying to cut in line, which I wouldn't put that past me sometimes. But this time, I didn't even know you could mark on the little kiosk that I had a scheduled appointment. However, in the midst of this argument, the guy all the way on the end yells, I have 212, could I get 212? And the security guard goes, yo, your number's being called at window 4. And I was like, oh, okay. So I go over to window 4, and he goes, hi, how are you? You're 212? And I said, yeah. So this is what I think happened. I think they realized they did skip my number because they went from 292 to 294. When they realized they had skipped my number, they were going to give me another Social Security card, which is what I was there for. So they scheduled an appointment for me, right, without me knowing. So when I went up to this guy's window, he thought I had marked it as scheduled, and it was them in the first place because they were trying to jump me in line because it like literally took 10 minutes when I was 15 numbers away from the number, right? So it took 10 minutes for me to get up there. So obviously they scheduled me, but I didn't know that. So that one guy's tripping out on me. I'm tripping out on him because I have no idea, and so the boss man gets a hold of me, and I can tell he's a boss man because the other dude from window 1 that originally called me a cheater and someone that's trying to cut in line walked over to that window to apologize to him for questioning the fact that I was scheduled. So that's where everything went awry, right? But now I'm back in action. I'm ready to go. I'm starting to get all my stuff, and he's like, He's like, oh, so you were the guy that thought we didn't call your number, but we did 3 times. And I'm like, yeah, start that up again. Don't worry about it. I'm in a good mood. I'm getting my social security card. There's no reason for me to argue with you right now at all. Whatever, dude. You fixed your mistake. I'm happy about it. You're happy about it. I can stop causing a scene. However, I can hear in the lobby the security guard yells to everyone, look, we do skip numbers sometimes, all right? It depends on the urgency of what needs to be filed. So if your number got skipped, I'm sure it's still going to be called, because now everyone's flipping out, right? Because of what happened to me. And they all know my number didn't get called. Like, everybody in the whole place knew it didn't get called. So it wasn't like one of those things where I was making it up. People agreed with me that they didn't hear it because they were waiting for their number. Anyways, it was all awesome. Now I have my social security card. Now I'm gonna go start working marketing for the Mojave County Fairgrounds, along with doing this job. So I'm gonna have a good time, man. I get to meet a lot of people, get to do a lot of cool things. Life is good right now, you know what I mean? Life is good.
Did you know Valley View Medical Center's mission is making communities healthier? We do that by offering a spectrum of services locally. Procedures for gastroenterology, orthopedic, ear, nose, and throat, pulmonary, women's health, and more are performed at the medical center. Whether inpatient or outpatient, you can confidently stay close to home for your joint replacement, colonoscopy, or ENT procedures. To learn more, go to valleyviewmedicalcenter.net.
So it's back to daylight savings time on Sunday. Yet another weekend where the government steals an hour of our sleeping time. According to the National Sleep Foundation, the loss of just 1 hour's sleep can make sleep-deprived people more accident-prone, increasing the risk of highway crashes. Studies have found up to 17% increase in fatal car crashes in the 4 days immediately after the switch to daylight savings time. That's 17% of an increase. Now, don't get me wrong. All right, if you don't understand how this works, and I'm sure you do, but if you don't, a 17% increase is an increase in the total fatalities in car crashes for every day, or maybe every month, or whatever. I'm assuming it's every day because they calculated it by the past 4 days. Or if they added all 4 of those days together, that means about a 3% increase in crash fatalities per day compared to the average, which let's say it's 10. If it's only a 4% increase, it's going to be 14 people. But it's still an increase, all right? It's still an increase for something we don't even really need, from what I understand. It's all from the Farmer's Almanac, and from what I understand, farmers don't need that anymore because they have machines and science in order to make sure that they can keep growing their plants. Anyways, the average adult needs about 8 hours of sleep each night. Yet more than a third of American adults sleep fewer than 7 hours a night. The National Sleep Foundation reports lack of sleep interferes with the daily activities of approximately 35% of those adults. Studies show, because it's not so easy to reset the body's internal clock, even those who get plenty of sleep may find themselves feeling disoriented, cranky, or groggy Sunday. It's much like a case of jet lag, and the rule of thumb is that it will take the body clock 1 day to adjust for each hour of time change. So they're like, all right, here's the thing. You get sleepy, you don't get enough sleep, you're probably going to be groggy and disoriented and cranky. But if you get too much sleep, you're probably going to be cranky, groggy, and disoriented. But we'll swap around the words a little bit so it doesn't seem like the same thing. But either way, just try to get the right amount of sleep, all right? Find your some kind of clock. I forget what they called it, but they always said my clock was off because I only sleep about 5.5 hours, 6 hours a day. And that's as much as my body will let me sleep. I am up no matter what, 5.5 to 6 hours later. So I have no choice in that. That's just when my refractory period is that amount of time, and then I'm ready to go again. Completely refreshed and ready to go. Like I pop up ready for work at 5.5 to 6 hours of sleep. As a matter of fact, if I end up going to sleep earlier, for some reason I sleep until my normal time to get up, 5:30, I'm way groggy, so I understand what they're saying. When it comes to breakups, nobody likes them, right? They're hard to deal with, and I even have a friend right now that is kind of talking to 2 different ladies, but he wants to end it with one of them and he doesn't know how to. So that is kind of like a breakup. So how do you handle that situation? Well, Women's Day talked to 2 psychologists to get their best advice on how to deal with a breakup. Should you still remain friends, or you shouldn't feel obligated to do so if it's causing you more pain? There's a lot of options here on how you handle a breakup, but here's how they're saying to do it. 2 psychologists, ready? Sorry. All right. Get off social media. Don't do that. Let's not get weird. All right. Social media is the way the world goes round. maybe ignore them. There's an option there to ignore them for a month so you don't see any of this stuff. However, if they take a lot of pictures with your friends, you're kind of screwed. Make a list of why the relationship didn't work. You know, the pros and cons list, except forget the pros. All right, just do cons. Bring back old hobbies. Yeah, like searching for ladies or searching for D, whatever it is you're into. Start doing something new. Well, from my earlier point, if you want to switch teams, I guess you could. But I mean, that's not something I would do. Maybe you should take up darts or something. Don't spend all your social time talking about the breakup. A lot of people do that. I did that for a long time only because that lady ruined my life. You know, she led me down a very dark path, which I willingly jumped on. And of course, it got darker for me even after we broke up. So I kind of hated her for introducing me to it again, because obviously we've all been on dark paths before, but introducing to me again, I kind of hated her for it. Anyways, look at it as a learning opportunity. Yes, don't trust anyone ever. You learn that? Good, great. I know sometimes the learning opportunity is not there, unless you're learning compassion and understanding and how to, why can't I think of the word? I feel like an idiot. Like, accept it. I don't know, whatever. Big decisions are okay, but not make them when you're actively upset. Well, duh, that's kind of common knowledge anyways. Love yourself really, really well. I do, so often. Try giving back. That's right, work at your community. Actually, that works out. If you donate your time places, it usually takes your mind off things that are making you upset and helps you focus on the positive. And give yourself time to deal with the breakup. So, that is a list of things that you should do if you are in a breakup, according to 2 psychologists at Women's Day Asked. So, aesthetic appeal aside, a big derriere might be beneficial to women by helping out their children. Now, derriere, if you don't know that term, it means butt. Her assets, or one of them anyways. A recent study from the University of Oxford, popular once more, connects the big booty to healthy children, crediting the omega-3 good fatty acid present in the mother's body for the extra boost. Scientists proved long ago women who carry weight below the waist are less likely to fight heart disease and high cholesterol. And fat deposits, like those in the hips, butt, and thighs, store heightened levels of omega-3s, the same fatty acids that help babies' brains develop, properly anyways. Evidence shows the fats in a mother's breast milk comes from the lower half of the body, which means that all those omega-3s become part of the baby's balanced breakfast. So your ass becomes part of your baby's balanced breakfast. Yay! That makes it sound kind of gross. But nevertheless, big booty, healthy children. So there's science behind that. So any of you ladies that all of a sudden got pregnant, all of a sudden your hips went, Phew. That means because you're going to have a healthy, smart baby. Good for you. So there's been a lot of research on tattoos lately, and getting a tattoo may evoke a powerful reaction and not just pain. Body art can serve as a coping tool for mental illness, and that's very true. I know a lot of people that get tattoos because they feel like it calms them, it centers them, and does a lot of great things for their mental capacity. Says psychologist Gabriel Crenshaw, PsyD, a neuroscience lecturer at the University of Southern California. People all over the world are getting semicolon tattoos to signify that they have not given up after suicidal thoughts, addiction, and other psychological struggles. Learn more at projectsemicolon.com. I didn't know about that. So I guess a semicolon, it represents a lot of things: suicide, addiction, and other psychological struggles, which is probably like bipolar disorder, schizophrenia. I'm starting to meet more and more people with schizophrenia, and them maintaining it, which is really impressive, because it could be a very terrible disorder that can allow you to believe things are going on that aren't, or people are talking to you that aren't. So sometimes when you see someone yelling stuff at you in an alleyway or outside of a gas station, they're calling you names for no apparent reason, sometimes that's why. So make sure you take that into account when you see one. But Whisper uses, and as one Whisper user put it, my Harry Potter tattoo is an homage to my lifelong battle against depression and anxiety. Brave like a Gryffindor. Ha ha ha. I don't know what that means. I mean, I remember the word from the movies, but just don't think on impulse. A tattoo can help you tap your mental strength. but it won't solve your problems. I don't know what a whisper user is either. So I'm kind of out on my own on this article on little bits and pieces, but nothing that really matters because Gryffindor, you don't need to know what that is. Whisper, you don't need to know what that is, but what you do need to know is that tattoos can be a coping mechanism. And so maybe if you've never had one, just go try one. If there's something you want to get tatted on you. I wouldn't recommend just tatting whatever though, you know what I mean? Like pick something worthwhile that you will want to look at for the rest of your life. Like I want to get this tattoo of a cross, and I wanted to say on my arm, created in his image, what kind of man should I be? To remind me to achieve great things, to create a better world for myself, to create better relationships, to create things that I find prosperous in my life. So I want to get that tattoo, I just haven't done it yet. And I heard tattoos, I said this a few episodes ago, or maybe, 2 episodes ago or something like that tattoos help boost your immune system. So if you want to fight the coronavirus, just get all tatted up. And it'll help you with your mental illnesses, whatever those might be. Either way, you get to enjoy the experience, and people get to experience the tattoo on you. And thanks for being part of my experience. It's Big K Experience at the Spilt Milk Show with the B.